Alright, VC, I'm back as promised with some more vinyl finds from June, early part of July, maybe even May. I'm sorry. But no, this stack is going to be a little bit different. These aren't from a store, from a record show. These are actually from a dig I went on with my local dealer, Brian Lee, who owns the little store in Greenville. And yeah, I was hanging out with him one day, and he had some leads, some people he'd dug at before, and asked me to come along, told me if I found anything I could buy it, but just to kind of keep an eye out for him on anything he might be interested in for the store as well. So you can't pass up an opportunity like that to go digging with a dealer at some of his private leads. So went to two different places. The first place we went to was a total bust. I did pick up like 2 albums there, but it was a bad situation there. But the second place we went to was not too far from where I live, actually, about 15 minutes from my house. A guy named Dave, who sells at the St. Louis Record Show, has an excellent quality of an excellent selection of quality stuff, very nice condition, right prices, and we went digging in his storage unit, kind of his backlog of stuff, and then we also went to his apartment and dug his personal collection. So that was really cool to get to do, and I found some great stuff there. In total, average price paid for all of these was just under $4.50. It was like 4 and some change. So could not be happier with the prices that I paid for these. Couldn't be happier with the quality of most of this stuff, and just some mind-blowing stuff that I found. So let's go ahead and just rip through these real quick. First up, we have the incredible string band 5,000 Spirits, or the Layers of the Onion. My first incredible string band, first and only incredible string band album that I have, and I love the artwork on this. This is a fantastic folk album, folk psych, if you want to call it that. Really, really, really good stuff. The Beatles Revolver, one I've been looking for a very long time. Not the best cover, and it's a purple label, capital, so from like the 80s, but the vinyl is super, super clean. It was super quiet. I may be the only person that played the vinyl, despite the cover looking like this. But not much more you can say about Revolver. We have Gulliver. This is a promo copy. This is on the Electra 4000 series, as is the incredible string band album I showed earlier. But also notable for featuring Mr. Daryl Hall on keyboards. Yes, Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. I don't think this is psych rock. I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet. I think it's just some kind of blues pop rock stuff from the 60s, but I've heard it's pretty good though, so excited to give this one a listen and see what Daryl Hall sounded like before he became Daryl Hall. Then we have Redeye. I believe it's just a self-titled album on the Pentagram label. And actually I think Pentagram had an album pretty similar to this, but I'm not positive on that. But anyway, I don't know what this is. Dave, the guy we bought it from, really said it was pretty good stuff, so took his word for it. He was a super nice guy and really honest with this stuff, so if he recommended it, I just want to take a chance on it, so there you go. I have a couple albums by the Sons of Champlin. I believe it's some kind of jazz rock stuff. Again, my to-listen pile is really big, so I haven't had a chance to spin all of these, but I've done my best to spin as many as I can, so the ones I know I'll talk a little bit about. But yeah, I don't know much about this. This is from 1975, and like I said, some kind of jazz rock stuff, but there's pot leaves all over the back, so maybe it gets into a little bit of hippie psych elements, maybe. So, and also by the Sons of Champlin, this is called Loosen Up Naturally. This is a double LP, actually earlier than their self-titled one that I just showed. Again, as far as I know, jazz rock, maybe some psych leanings, so we'll see. We have the Sunshine Company. Happy is the Sunshine Company, and despite the sort of psychedelic artwork, it is, as it is described, they are a Sunshine pop group, but it's pretty good stuff. It's enjoyable. If you're into Sunshine pop, definitely check these guys out. Really, really good harmonies. And we have Gallery, Nice to Be With You. This is some southern rock, basically, laid back, kind of hippie rock, if you want to call it that, but more so southern rock. I really like southern rock. I don't know, from a small town, grew up with some grandparents that listened to a lot of country and bluegrass, so I think that kind of stuck with me. But yeah, Gallery, pretty good album. This is one you can usually find really cheap too. King Crimson and the Court of the Crimson King. Another album. There's really not much more to be said about this than has been said before by pretty much everyone in the VC, but I finally have a copy of this, a really clean one at that. Just kind of a prog masterpiece. And I did listen to this one, and for not being a guy that's really into prog all that much, despite it being very similar to psych, I always call it the first cousin of psychedelic rock. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this album. Good stuff. Then we have MC5 Kick Out the Jams. We go to this guy's apartment, right? We just dug his storage unit. Brian asked him, hey, can we go back and just check out your collection? I want to show Matt what you've got. I think you guys have similar taste in music. So we go, not expecting to buy anything from him. It's his personal stuff. And this was one of the first albums I saw, and I just kind of said, "Oh man, I love this album. You know, if you wanted to sell it, what would you ask for it?" And he threw out a number that was super low, I thought anyway. And so I was like, "Oh, I'll take it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, everything here is available, guys. Just make me an offer." So it was like a free-for-all after that. But yeah, MC5 Kick the Jams. It is the censored version, but you know, that's no big deal to me. So really, really happy to have this though. This is a group called Touch. It's a self-titled album. Gosh, on the London Coliseum label. Couldn't think of it. Sorry about that. I knew nothing about this. Dave recommended it. Said it's you know, for the most part, psych. Gets a little bit proggy in spots. So I took a chance on it, and he described it really well. It's pretty much what it is. Mostly a psych album, dipping into the prog elements. It's a late 60s album, so you can kind of see where the music is headed there. But I really enjoyed this album. There's a couple of long jams on here that are really good. And a couple of videos ago, you probably saw a promo for a radio show I'm a part of this summer, maybe into the fall if we can keep it going. And I played a track on this on our show, and just really, really, really good album. Then we have the Clique self-titled, featuring the big hit Sugar on Sunday, and also the original version of Superman that was later covered by REM in the 80s. They did the original version, and it's a good version too. I like both versions. Honestly, REM did a pretty straightforward cover of it, maybe with a little bit better vocals though. Yeah, really good album though. And on the back, you know, they've got pictures of the group with the names of each person, and then they've got a picture of a guy holding a picture of a naked girl, woman, and it just says groupie. So it was like, even a group like the Clique had groupies in the 60s, you know. Where was I? So. Then we have The Illusion, Together as a Way of Life. Didn't know anything about these guys. Brian and Dave both recommended I grab their stuff. So I picked this up, and also grabbed If It's So by The Illusion. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, but yeah, Brian and Dave really talked these guys up, so I hope it turns out to be good stuff. This is one I've been looking for a very long time. Bo, Earhead 6, I know, is a big fan of this album. This is the Yardbirds with Little Games, and as Bo would say, Keith Ralph. So, anyway, yeah, this is a fantastic album. Love the Yardbirds, and I've spun this 2 or 3 times actually since I bought it. Maybe should have spun some of the other ones I haven't heard yet, but it's too good not to put on the turntable. The Litter, Emerge. My gosh, this is fantastic. Really hard psych rock, similar to like the Blue Cheer, I would say, but maybe even a little bit harder than that. There's one song that closes with like a 10-minute drum solo, so it gets a little excessive, a little crazy, but yeah, they had a couple really rare albums. The first one, The Litter Distortions, which you can find reissues of, but this is, I think, their 3rd album, a little bit easier to find. Super clean copy though. Really happy to have this. If you don't know The Litter, check out their stuff, especially if you're into like the MC5 stuff along that vein. These guys are going to be up your alley. And last but certainly not least, my grail of grails, the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. This was hanging on Dave's wall in his apartment, and I asked him if he was willing to sell it. He threw out a really low price, and I just immediately jumped on it. And Brian was like, "Oh man, if you hadn't picked it up, I would have smacked you." So it was really a fantastic price. The vinyl's a little bit rough, but it plays through really well. A few pops and crackles in places, but not bad otherwise. And for the price I paid for it, I'm not going to complain at all. And again, a second pressing, later pressing, but this will tie me over until I can find an earlier copy with the other artwork. But yeah, just to have this to play and hear the music whenever I want and put it on the turntable, could not be happier. Just a masterpiece of a 60s pop rock album. Of course, the big hit Time of the Season, but every track on here is fantastic. I don't think there's a dud on the entire album. And that concludes the finds from what was probably my best single day of digging outside of a record show that I've ever had, and maybe just in general ever. It was a fantastic day. It was really cool to get to go and do some private digs like that. And Dave, the guy that we bought everything from, super nice guy, couldn't be happier with how things went there. And yeah, just some absolute grails and stuff in my collection now that I've been looking for. So I appreciate you guys sticking through me. Sorry about the barrage of videos, but we'll still have one more to go after this. Hopefully we'll get that up in the next day or 2 as well. So thank you guys for watching and your patience. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.